And to the other issue in the news, analysts say East Asian politics just became more interesting with a slew of developments, and none was more significant than the Chinese president's visit to South Korea ahead of North Korea. Some call it a snub to Pyongyang, but was it really, or was there something else to it? We begin this discussion with Xinhua's initial take on the visit. Chinese President Xi Jinping has urged all parties concerned to refrain from creating more tension on the Korean peninsula, as many uncertainties still exist. He made the comments during talks with South Korean President Park Geun-hye. She told Park that China upholds an objective and impartial position on the Korean peninsula issue and is firmly committed to pushing for a nuclear-free peninsula, maintaining the peace and stability on the peninsula, and resolving the issue through dialogue and consultation. He said China positively evaluates a proposal of a Korean peninsula trust-building process raised by Park and supports the improvement of relations between the North and the South to realize reconciliation and cooperation and ultimately achieve independent, peaceful reunification. In a joint statement, the two countries agreed that denuclearizing and maintaining peace and stability of the Korean peninsula are in the common interests of all countries involved in the six-party talks. But you know what? People want to know if North Korea is still or genuinely interested in those six-party talks. Here's one angle to it. China treats North Korea as a friend, but does North Korea think the same of China? We don't know. On the issue of the denuclearization of the Korean peninsula, if China doesn't show toughness on that issue, North Korea may not give up its nuclear ambitions. North Korea has apparently gone its own separate way. It launched missiles to show it has no interest in restarting six-party talks. So the more China pursues six-party talks, the more North Korea thinks its fate is controlled by others. You know what? But there's at least one other perspective to this visit to South Korea, as reported by the South China Morning Post. Chinese President Xi Jinping stressed the joint suffering of China and South Korea under Japanese militarism. It came days after Tokyo announced a landmark shift in military policy. The hard-hitting language was saved for recalling Japan's repressive colonial rule and wartime aggression. It's a message guaranteed to go down well in Seoul. Relations between Seoul and Tokyo are currently at their lowest ebb for years, mired in disputes related to Japan's 1910 to 1945 rule over the peninsula. China is also embroiled in a territorial row with Japan, and analysts say Xi's efforts to stake out common cause with South Korea reflect a wider diplomatic strategy. South Korea and Japan are the two key U.S. military allies in the region, and analysts say exploiting any rift between them would help China in countering U.S. President Barack Obama's strategic pivot to Asia. Xi's evocation of Tokyo's military past carried particular resonance in the wake of Prime Minister Shinzo Abe's announcement this week that Japan's powerful military had the right to go into battle in defense of allies. The shift to a policy of so-called collective self-defense marks a highly contentious change in Japan's pacifist stance and was viewed with deep suspicion in Beijing and Seoul. And that's around the world. But up next, local China stories on our regional roundup.